next little bit, expanding two brackets. Alright, so we looked at expanding one bracket, expanding two brackets. This should be familiar to you. I think it's last year, yes? Yes? No? Hello? Anyone there? Yes? Completely forgot. We did it. I'm great at it. Okay, that's totally fine. Now, one method of expanding things is using this word here, FOIL. Okay, so often when people say expanding two brackets, you'll hear people chant FOIL. Well, FOIL. So the letters FOIL stand for are there to help remind you which things to multiply by each other, because we know when two brackets are next to each other, things are multiplying, and it's just to remind you. So the F stands for first, the O stands for outer, I stands for inner, and N stands for last. Oh, is it down the... Oh, yes. It is. Oh, that was a bit useless, as I said. Okay, so how do you make sure that you multiply each term when expanding? So, with two brackets, there are 4 things in total you're going to have. Okay? So, if you only end up with 3, something's gone wrong. We've forgotten what it is. Another way sometimes people do it is that they just draw arrows. So, they'll draw an arrow from X to X, from X to 2, from 4 to X, from 4 to 2. And sometimes they'll do that in a smiley face. Okay, so there's... Oh no, I've just done the same thing as Harrison. Okay, so there's his eyebrows, there's his nose, there's his smile. Okay, so lots of different ways of remembering what to do. The face, there's his eyebrows, his ears, nose, mouth. I mean, whatever. That looks like his chin. Yeah. He's got a good brow. There's also a box method, which I think I'm going to next at some point. Oh, what's going on here? I don't know either. Yeah, so there is a box method. I think I do that on the last page. Yeah. Okay. But with anything in algebra, and with anything in maths, full stop, if you have found a way of doing it, and it's not necessarily a method that I have told you about, then you just work with that. It could be that your parents have said, why don't you try it this way? Believe it or not, your parents are very capable of telling you how to do some stuff in maths, okay? I think some of you are like, no, can't possibly listen to anything you say, because my teacher said it differently, therefore you must be wrong. That's not the case, okay? There are different ways, different things, with different approaches you can have with maths. I'm going to choose one and I'm going to teach it because I think that's a good way for most people to learn stuff, but it doesn't work, it's not the best thing for everybody, okay? So if I was then sitting with Vintage, I might say, well, let's try it this way, because I'm just talking to Vintage on her own. Okay? But when I'm teaching you as a whole, this is the way. So I'm just stressing the fact that there are different ways of doing it. You find the best way for you and run with it. Alright, so as I said, just help you reminding which terms that you're going to multiply by each other. So going back to the actual question. First, well, that means that we're multiplying for 2 things that are in the brackets first. Okay? So you would be multiplying x by x. What does x multiply by x? X squared. X squared. Okay. Something else, just as a point to note, when you have things like this, you will always have an x squared term. So if you don't, something has gone wrong. All right, outer. So that means we're looking at the outside one. So this one and this one. Again, we are multiplying them. So we're multiplying x and positive 2. 2x. I'm actually going to write positive 2x, okay? Just because the signs are important, I want to make sure that you're comfortable with that. Inner. Okay, so they are the ones inside. Okay, I'm doing the colours to try and help you. So we've got positive 4 and x is, someone just shouted it, positive 4x. And then we've got our last one, which is 8 So we've got 4 and 2. So that's positive 4 multiplied by positive 2 is positive 8. Okay? Again, just as a thing to note, sometimes people for some reason get to the last one and decide to add them. Okay? You're always multiplying. Okay, so that's lovely. We've got our 4 terms, but now we need to make sure that we simplify these terms because all of these things are going to be added together. They're going to be joined together. Yeah. Yes. Now, it will 99% of the time be always these middle two that you're going to be joining together. Okay? I say 99% of the time because sometimes the order of the brackets change that, okay? Sometimes people can't spell and they do F-I-L-O or something of that nature, or F-L-O-I. Whatever they do, they don't have it that order. But you're always looking for like terms. We know in algebra we join like terms. So in this case, these are the two we're going to join together and we are adding them. And as I said last lesson when we're joining like terms, the signs are super important. So that's why I've been putting my positives or negatives if they were going to be negative. So I've got x squared, there's nothing joins with that, so that's just going to be there on its own. We've got positive 2x and positive 4x, that joins together to make 6x. So I've got positive 6x, and then I have my positive 8. Okay. Pretty straightforward, yes?
If you go any further,
Well, you tell me. Can we go any further? Is there anything that are like terms there?
your x squared?
Are they like terms?
No.
Well, I'm thinking you think they might be because you've asked me.
Yeah. Like because of the x.
Okay, how about that? I'm opening up the floor. Are they x squared and x like terms?
No.
Indigo, why not?
Because it's 6 times x rather than x and x minus.
Yeah, so this is an XX. Okay, so the combination of letters is there's two of them multiplied by each other. So as soon as they've got that squared there, it becomes not like to this. Okay, so this is just a number of x. This is an x and an x, so that's different. Okay, so next page. We should fly through these, I'm hoping, because we are awesome at multiplying. Are you okay that I don't keep changing colours now?
Yes.
It's a bit of a pain in the bottom. So my first are my x and x, so that's my x squared. My outers is my x and my -3. So what's x multiplied by -3? Negative 3x. Now obviously I must have my sign here now because it's negative. Okay? So before I didn't need the plus, but I put it in just to remind me, but now I need my negative sign. My inner, so I've got +5 and x. So plus 5x. And then my last, so I've got +5 and -3.
-15.
Oh, I love it. I love it. My two middle ones are the ones I'm joining together. Remember, we are joining like terms, so I'm starting at -3 and I'm adding on 5.
2x plus 2x.
I knew I'd ask Hannah, so you shouldn't have shouted out. Thank you, Hannah. +2x, good. I am actually going to keep the plus sign there. Okay, so we've got -3x and +5x, and that gives us +2x. So our final answer is going to be x squared plus 2x minus 50. We are awesome.
We should get the same answer even if we do 5 minus 3.
Totally, yes.
Doesn't matter to us.
Nope, really don't mind when you're joining like terms. You can start with whichever one you want to, but just make sure the sign is attached. Right? So first, we've got 2x and x.
A 2x squared.
Nice, 2x squared. We've got outer, 2x and -1. Imani,
-3x.
careful. 2x multiplied by -1. 2x multiplied by negative 1. Nice. You got there. Inner. I sound like some dodgy person. Inner. And 3, positive 3 multiplied by x. Kelsey.
3x.
Positive 3x, lovely jubbly. And last, positive 3 multiplied by negative 1. Amy.
Negative 3.
Negative 3. We can join our middle two together. So we've got negative 2x plus positive 3x. Yeah, now what do we get there? Start with negative 2 and we're adding on 3x. Good girl, x. Do we write 1s in algebra?
No.
Not when we've got them multiplied by something. Yep, it is equally positive, so we've got 2x squared plus x minus 3. Okay, I think a couple more examples. So we've got x minus 2, 3x minus 5. So first, alright, so our first, we've got x multiplied by 3x. So, Emily.
There's 3x squared.
Pardon?
3x squared.
Nice. 3x squared. Our outer is x multiplied by negative 5. Miss FL.
Negative 5x.
Lovely jubbly. We've got Maya Bean. Inners, please. Negative 6x. Said with great confidence and volume. And Georgie. Last. Nice, positive 10, because we've got a negative 2 and a negative 5. Right, we're joining our middle two terms. So this is sometimes where people, again, like I said last lesson, people focus on this 2 negatives make positive. Not when you're adding or subtracting. So we've got negative 5, and we are taking away 6 more. Okay, so we've got negative 5, and we are taking away 6 from that. Emily.
Negative 11x.
Nice, negative 11x. Okay, so we've got our final answer is 3x squared minus 11x plus 10. Presbyterian.
What is this doing?
Okay, now this one here is the box method. Okay, now you might be like, ooh, yes. Or you might, no, ditching that completely. I filled it in for you so you can see how it's done. So x plus 5. So what you do is you take one of your brackets, it doesn't matter which one, and you separate the two terms. So we've got x and a plus 5.
Do we have to do this one if we come forward yet?
No, not at all. Oh, sorry.
They're not going to have one.
No. As I said, this is just one time that I'm going to give you a couple of options. But sometimes I do give you 2 options, yes? And I say pick one you like. I'm just going through it in case people are like, oh, I'm a bit more of a visual person. I quite like this. So an x plus 5. So I'm separating my x and my number. And the x minus 3, I'm separating my x and my number. And then like any kind of multiplying chart, where those 2 boxes meet, you're going to put your answer to the whole multiplication. So it's x multiplied by x gives me x squared. X multiplied by negative 3, negative 3x, 5x, and negative 15. Okay? And then in the same way, is you say, right, oh, look, these are like terms, so I can join those together. And you would simplify them. Okay, so it's just a slightly different way of setting it out. If you don't like remembering FOIL, you might like the boxes. Okay, all good? All good, methods? Marnie, you awake?